not the sharpest tool. He strutted through life thinking I'm not a fool, not the brightest light in the room. He learned that money makes him cool. They said family comes first, do what we tell you, do what a son is supposed to do. He followed through, thought he was a fixer, but that's far from the truth. He charmed strangers, he hustled friends, burned through him and called it business. In the end, every crooked dollar, every dirty game, he was better than others, having no shame. Money is the ultimate, and swindles all the way. He found the ones to do it, never thinking that he'd have to pay. He told his family he's got this, and he'd make them proud. He found the connections in shady places by tossing money around. Time passed and he thought he had it beat. He wasn't expecting that bump in the street. Arrogance got the best of him, he couldn't shut his mouth. When dumb people talk, the truth will come out. Code in words, some scripted lines does a fool make. He soon would feel the law's earthquake. Blood on the walls and piss on the floor. His ranting and raving can't even the score. He took the fall for family. They left him where he stood. He thought he was untouchable, and the law was just a game. Now he's counting cracks in concrete, and they won't utter his name. I'm going in circles, and he'll be deep mad. If it weren't for his actions, one could consider it sad. He sat on the stand thinking that he's bold, not knowing he's the sacrifice with the story he told. Then came the prosecutor, quiet as a ghost, never raised a voice but put on a show. Told the world what he did in 2 hours flat. Now his mind is racing like a rabid bat, while a man played checkers with a loaded hand. The law played chess, delivering on demand. Justice came in minutes while he blinked in disbelief. He realized he's a killer, not just a thief. The pieces were moving quickly and he didn't understand. Finally the gavel was slammed with a heavy hand. He thought he'd beaten the rap, thought he found the way out, but puzzle pieces are scattered, put up for only cloud. He took the fall for family. They laughed behind his back. They left him where he stood. Now his mind would crack. He thought he was untouchable, thought the law was just a game. Now he's counting pores in concrete and whispering her name, making sure he would take the fall. He watched them lock the door. The one who called himself Maestro is a number, collapsed on the floor. The ceiling talks at midnight, the shadows know his face. He argues with the empty air, then begs it for some grace. His mind became another prison long before they turn the key. A caged man sits and wonders why is she still free? Got 4 walls for his family, a lifetime for his crime. Now he's paying interest, it's just a matter of time. He's confused about what happened, thought he made them proud. The sacrificial lamb who protected secrets is now a number in a crowd. Blood, blood on the wall, shit on the ceiling. He keeps repeating, I had a feeling. Never thought he'd be taken down. His mind replays her laying it all out. Puzzle pieces could not get him out. Staring through the bars, trying to make the pieces fit. A man who wanted love Became a killer looking for it.
Hello. Oh, hey everyone. How are you doing? Sorry, I gotta mute Vince Joy. Sorry. He's playing in the background. Okay, hello everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining me today. Tater Bug, New York Patriot Lady Clarissa. My dog name is Bo. There's several more. Beach Bum. Emily, good to see you. Okay. I want to do a live stream listening to Georgia versus Linda Bailey. Okay. Remember, Georgia comes out like a scathing cat. Her hair on the left side is messed up during Donna's trial. And she's like, what the hey, right? Linda Bailey is a hot mess in a handbasket. Georgia is about to attack. We're going to watch this. Ugh. Oh, okay. Wait, hang on. I might need to go back 5 seconds. Hang on. Wait, let me share this because it's so funny. The one screenshot that I have paused it at is like Linda Bailey fluffing her hair. Oh my goodness. And I want to thank you everyone for being here. It looks like the chat is a hot mess. And, well, not a hot mess, but I'm saying like there's a lot of people. I have great moderators in the chat. I thank you all for being here. I think, I want to go back. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we are going to watch this. Georgia versus Linda Bailey. Remember, Linda Bailey was the one hired from the defense. She may or may not have been a mediator in the divorce case prior to. There's still some speculation on that. But let's go. Thank you. Thank you all for being here.
Please continue with your examination.
Thank you, Ms. Bailey, how did the Adelson-Markel divorce compare across the variety of cases that you've handled?
Simply, it was routine, it was amicable. I've done similar cases that have had anything from 2-day to 7-day trials. I've had them range from $200,000 to $500,000 in fees and costs. I've had multiple financial experts, child.
Whoa. Remember. Linda is here because she's trying to say that Dan Markel and Wendi Adelson did not have a contentious divorce. Okay. After their divorce was final on July 31st of 2013, every filing from July 31st of 2013 until the date of his death in July of 2014 was 100% contentious. Okay, but here's the expert. Here she is. And I mean, I know there's other YouTubers who've made fun of her hair, her clothing, her teeth. I mean, whatever. I don't really care about her appearance. I care about what she is speaking about.
Development experts, vocational experts, all retained, deposed, testifying. I've had cases with multiple discovery issues, discovery over psychological records, financial records, third-party subpoenas, 2 full days of deposition of just one party. This was an easy case compared to many.
Did it look worse than it was because of the way in which Mr. Markel's pleadings were drafted?
Yeah, I mean, he drafted pleadings, motions, I think.
Okay. Well, I mean, okay, in Josh Zellman's defense, which I don't really want to make him have a defense, but Josh Zellman is totally out of his league. I mean, he's been given a questionnaire from Jackie Fulford, who's running the show. Josh is like secondary. Listen, it does not matter who or what you are in society. When you are going through a divorce, swords are drawn, right? Like it is a fiasco. You're gonna pull out everything from everything from your back pockets to the kitchen sink to, that dude called me stupid 2 weeks after we got married, 7 years before we had a child. Listen, that's what happens in divorces. But okay, Josh Zellman's hilarious.
Responses would be more appropriate than pleadings, but that's kind of technical. He drafted them like he was drafting a law review article or something. They weren't technically correct. They were verbose. They were hyperbolic. He used a lot of inflammatory language. But when you really looked close.
Whoa, Linda. Whoa, Linda. Literally, Linda is calling Dan Markel verbose and hyperbolical. Dan Markel was fighting for only 50% custody of his children. Yeah, no, I kind of agree with Leslie B and everybody else who says stuff. Her teeth are jacked up. It's called Invisalign.
Closely at his requests of the court, there was no there. There was no foundation for his asks.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Cross-examine.
Wow. Okay, I'm so sorry. I do not want to interrupt. However, here we go. You guys literally look at Georgia. The left side of her perfectly styled hair is a hot mess. She's literally been scratching the top of her left scalp while Linda Bailey was testifying. Like, Georgia is a scathing cat, and I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Here she comes. The blonde bombshell, Georgia Cappleman. Here she comes. Hey, girl, We love you. Let's watch you.
What is it you were asked to do in this case?
I was asked to review the documents I was given and to opine about whether this was truly a highly contentious custody case, essentially.
And why would your opinion about whether it was a highly contentious custody case matter?
Well, that's for somebody else to decide. I mean, I've done 2,000 cases, or give or take 100 on each side, and I think I have a pretty good judge of where this falls as far as contentiousness.
Sure, but you're somebody that has vast experience with a ton of divorces, right?
Sure.
The parties only have experience with one divorce, right?
I don't know how many they have experience with,
So
but
isn't
sure.
the contentiousness in the eye of the beholder, in the sense that to you it might not seem like a big deal, but to the parties it might be the most important thing in the whole wide world?
I mean, what Georgia is saying is 100% correct. Oh, okay. So here's you guys. Here's Shelly Markel right behind Georgia's right shoulder. Okay. I mean, Georgia's hair is always so pristine. I mean, but she's pissed. Georgia is pissed. It does not matter who you are in society. Any divorce case is horrific. Man, Linda Bailey. Oh, yeah, no. Dan was contentious. Dan was hyperbolical. STFU. Linda, here comes Georgia. Let's get it, girl.
Do you
Well, that's
agree
one
with
reason.
that? Do you agree with that?
Ms. Cappleman, Ms. Bailey, wait for the question, wait for the answer. Do not speak over each other.
Do you agree that a case as parties, it might be the most important thing in the whole wide world? Do you
Well, that's
agree
one
with
reason.
that? Do you agree with that?
Ms. Cappleman, Ms. Bailey, wait for the question, wait for the answer. Do not speak over each other.
Do you agree that a case as a lawyer might be routine, whereas to the parties it's the most important thing in the world?
To some degree. That's one reason I called Kristen, is Miss Adamson, in particular, of the lawyers in our community of the family law bar, is extremely measured.
Remember, Kristen Adamson is her BFF. They're besties. Kristen is still pissy because she never got $10,000 from Dan Markel. That is what this entire testimony is about. Kristen Adamson didn't get the 10K. Linda Bailey is here to back up her bestie for not getting the 10K and also disparaging Dan Markel.
And calm. And I find that when I litigate against her, we reach resolutions, that people stay measured and calm, and we get things done. She's not one of the other lawyers in town who may stir cases up or play on those emotions. So our job as lawyers is to explain to our clients when we get emotion. If I get something, for example, that, although I've never had something similar to what Mr. Markel would file, the immediate response is to call your client and go, I know you're going to read this at first glance, so it's going to seem messy. But there's no legal basis for this, so don't worry. And my understanding is that is what she communicated to Wendi.
And when you communicate these things to your clients, hey, this is no big deal, this is no problem, this is a bunch of gibberish, do they always accept that?
Well, that's not the way I would present it, but
Do they ever get upset about the gibberish in the pleadings, the offensive materials in the pleadings, regardless of whether or not it's going to impact their chance of success in court? It can be emotionally charged, can it?
I would say annoying more than emotionally charged.
You would not say that divorce and child custody issues are emotionally charged?
They can be, but in this case, they weren't.
They weren't? How do you know?
From the pleadings, because I don't have 10,000 pages in front of me.
You're not in the mind of...
Whoa, what the hey? Whoa! Linda, get your ass in reality. All divorce proceedings are emotionally charged. Whether you have a mama who wants everything in regards to custody of their children, or you have a father wanting everything in regards to the custody of their children, whether it's educational, religional, nutritional, right? Like, I mean, we read Dan Markel's motion from March of 2014. All custody proceedings are emotional because parents have emotional contact to their children, period. It doesn't even matter. Okay, we could take out the relocation. We could take out the religious pieces, the educational all parents, good parents, quote unquote, good parents, they want that emotional attachment to their children. Linda Bailey is, I mean, okay. Well, this kind of brings me back to when I watched this trial. Linda Bailey pissed me off. Okay. Oh, Georgia, you always look so much better. I'm so sorry that you scratched your head on the left side for 20 minutes listening to Linda Bailey's bullshit from the defense. And now you got to come out like a scathing cat looking, well, she doesn't look a hot mess. However, her hair's a little messed up. Okay. Gonna keep moving.
But in this case, they weren't.
They weren't? How do you know?
From the pleadings, because I don't have 10,000 pages in front of me.
You're not in the mind of the people whose lives are impacted by these pleadings. It's not just about pieces of paper and a binder, is it?
I don't think that's what I said.
People's lives are impacted by the decisions that go on in court, which for you are routine. Would you agree?
In this instance, they reached agreement on all issues.
Hey everyone for being here. Thank you so much. I'm not going to go through and say hello to everyone in chat. I just want to go through this. It's kind of been in my crawl for a minute. Okay.
So they had complete control of what was coming out of the court.
Ma'am, could you please answer my question? Are people's lives impacted in drastic ways by routine matters that we see in court as lawyers?
People's lives change after divorce, certainly.
So, like, I may think I've got a bag of stinky garbage.
No. Whoa. Everyone's life changes after a divorce. What are you talking about, Linda? What the F are you talking about? It doesn't even matter if you have children or not. Your daily life changes after a divorce. Oh my goodness.
But the garbage man might not think it's stinky at all. Do you get the reference?
I don't.
What is no big deal to us is a big deal to...
Okay, I did not mean to interrupt Georgia, but I brought this up in a live stream that Grish, Leslie B, and I had about this testimony. Okay, here we go about the stinky garbage of trash. I have a stinky bag of trash. I put it out to my yard dispenser, like the big bucket thing. Okay? Linda cannot even agree.
Ways by routine matters that we see in court as lawyers.
People's lives change after divorce, certainly.
So, like, I may think I've got a bag of stinky garbage, but the garbage man might not think it's stinky at all. Do you get the reference?
I don't.
What is no big deal to us is a big deal to these litigants, right? You can't agree with that. You can't agree with it. Strike the question. You were asked, let me ask you this. Let's go on to something else. Have you ever had people get murdered or commit suicide based on the issues that are going on in your family law litigation?
I've never had anyone murdered. I had in one instance a Middle Eastern person.
Here we go. Well, I kind of think that she should have said yes in regards to anyone murdered in her litigation. Like, yeah, Dan Markel was murdered. But she's going to talk about someone who deemed divorce so shameful that they off themselves.
Committed suicide just because there was a divorce, and that was shameful. So nothing was it was literally the day after the petition was filed, and he had threatened, if you file, I'm going to kill myself, and indeed he did.
And to you, divorce is not shameful, is it?
To me, divorce is not shameful.
Divorce is not a basis to commit suicide, is it?
Not according to me, but I didn't grow up in Iran or wherever this custom or feeling.
Exactly, Ms. Bailey.
derived.
To that person, it was a reason to commit suicide, right?
Apparently so.
Aren't these issues raised in these pleadings potential fuel to make people upset?
Potential fuel to possibly make people upset?
Yes, ma'am. For example, you were asked about what we've called the grandma motion. You say, oh, it's no big deal. It wouldn't be granted. It was buried in there. But the allegation is grandma is disparaging me.
Like, whoa. Linda Bailey. All divorces cause some sort of emotional mishap, if you will. Even if it's elation, like that's still an emotional mishap. Linda Bailey should be disbarred. That's just my opinion. It is what it is.
Me to these kids, and I won't tolerate it, right? Couldn't that be upsetting to grandma?
You'd have to ask grandma. I don't know.
Exactly.
You knew how upset Donna Adelson was by the filings. You're disgusting. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. And everyone else is here. Okay, for everyone who's joining, thank you so much for being here. This is True Crime Wifey. Your comments are scrolling up in the bottom right of the chat. Thank you so much. And I appreciate you all for being here because, okay, I watched this 2 or 3 times after it happened. I have not revisited it. And I remember, well, I'm remembering right now how angry it makes me on this entire testimony. Disgusting. Linda Bailey is gross. In my opinion, allegedly, in a lot of ways, not even including your teeth. Okay?
It shouldn't have been. There was no proof,
It shouldn't have been, in your opinion.
in my opinion.
But in your opinion, divorce is no reason to commit suicide, right?
True.
Gibbers, according to the evidence in this case, means Jew in boots. It's not a flattering term by that definition or by your definition of someone that speaks gibberish. Can we agree it's not a flattering term?
No, it's probably not flattering, but I've seen far, far worse.
You've seen worse.
I have.
If Mr. Markel wasn't paying by the deadline, isn't that something that would be potentially upsetting to the parties or their family members?
I don't know how upsetting $80,000 would be. I don't know.
$80,000 is a lot of money, isn't it, Miss Bailey?
It depends on who you are.
Exactly. So we'd have to ask the...
Okay. $80,000 is nothing. Nothing for people, apparently.
parties, right? Right?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I think on that issue, he clearly had the asset. So at the end of the day, he was going to pay. It was just a matter of jumping through hoops to get the money.
He was either going to pay, or he was going to get sanctioned by the court, or he was going to end up in jail, right?
I don't see any possibility he was going to end up in jail.
Okay. Well, you sat in the courtroom during Ms. Adamson's testimony,
I did.
didn't you? And
I
Ms.
did.
Adamson said that that was one alternative, an extreme alternative, obviously, but that's what contempt means, right?
But that
Ultimately.
wouldn't even come into play until
Okay, normal people in everyday society, they are actually jailed for not paying child support stuff. I mean, this entire argument is ridiculous. Thank you all for being here. If you're a troll, peace out. Good to see you. Thank you so much. But this is about justice for Dan Markel. This witness on the stand literally disparages Dan Markel. Okay? Just saying.
the motion for enforcement, and then he didn't abide by that, and then the judge asked him to do something else, and then he didn't abide by that. I think jail was pretty far-fetched.
Well, as long as he pays. Ultimately, the teeth is you go to jail.
No, that's not true.
It's not true. Okay. Ms.
Yeah.
Adamson was incorrect on that point, I guess.
Objection, Your Honor. It's not a question that move to strike.
I'll rephrase it.
Was the objection again?
It's an improper comment on the witness's testimony.
Stay and please rephrase your question. Okay.
I said Ms. Adamson was incorrect on that point when she said jail was a potential option. Is that correct?
Well, I could break it down. There's two different matters in that financial motion on October 31st. Mm-hmm. One was the $70,000 still due to Wendi. Jail is not a possibility on that. But you don't send people to jail for failure to pay money. We don't do that. The $10,000 in fees to Kristen.
Okay, remember back to the timeline, okay? Wendi files a motion on October 31st of 2013 for Dan Markel to show cause as to why he has not provided her with the $120,000 that he owes her for the house. Dan does not answer that motion until January 30th of 2014. So 3 months later, he gives Wendi Adelson a check that clears, right? Like it basically a payment of $54,725.38 and says that is the only money I owe you because I have discovered your discrepancies in your financials. And Dan, at that time, at late January of 2014, files a motion for Wendi to show cause in regards to her financials. Yes. Yeah, I mean, Dan is savage in the positive, okay?
Was more debatable because that could have been in the specter of support. And if you don't pay alimony or child support after repeated chances, I guess you could say, jail might be an option, but there's always a purge to that. So I've seen many times in child support, if you don't pay child support, then the judge says, bailiff, get, Mr. So-and-so or whatever. And then all of a sudden he comes up with money out of his pocket and he pays, he never goes to jail. So you always have the key to the jail when you owe a support obligation. So technically, if he wanted to go to jail rather than pay Kristen the $10,000, eventually there may have been a hearing where that happened. I've seen one person in my career go to jail over child support.
Okay. Well, okay. I just have to say this real quick. In my experience operating in a much smaller economic bracket, I have seen many men go to jail over non-payment of child support. Just saying. I mean, Tally Gal might be able to. I mean, Tally Gal might be able to support what I'm talking about. We're talking about low income folks. Okay, we've seen many men go to jail for non-payment of child support.
Right, because they pay because they don't want to go to jail. If there was no jail and no consequences, they would never pay, right?
Some people wouldn't. And that's just support. There's no jail consequence to the $70,000 due Wendi. It was only the $10,000 due Kristen that could have possibly remotely been a possibility.
Did you see evidence in this case of Wendi taking her mother's suggestions, cutting and pasting them into an email as her own, and then forwarding those questions to Ms. Adamson?
No, I didn't see any.
And did you see in your review of the evidence in this?
Yeah, 100% Clarissa. Clarissa, like, there are attorneys who lose their license for not paying child support. It happens. And then, okay, I'm going to let Kristen move on. I'm going to go back 5 seconds to this nutso.
Ms. Adams taking her mother's suggestions, cutting and pasting them into an email as her own, and then forwarding those questions to Ms. Adamson.
No, I didn't see any.
And did you see?
Okay, so remember everyone, Linda Bailey is only testifying prior to the divorce finalization on July 31st of 2013. Linda Bailey admits later, it's at some point during this testimony, that she never saw Donna's emails and correspondence toward Wendi after the divorce, which is when poo-poo, S-H-I-T, that is when shit got serious in regards to the custody of the children. Like, okay, what? I'm not going to make a comment on this.
In your review of the evidence in this case, Ms. Adamson responding to those questions and Wendi then forwarding those answers to her mother?
I don't recall that. I don't recall saying that.
Did you review the communications from Donna Adelson, both in the form of email and text messages, that suggest that she was in fact extremely disappointed and upset about the outcome of the relocation motion?
I did. In probably the 5 days after the relocation, which was, say, 4 weeks before the ultimate settlement in July, there were a flurry of emails where she was obviously upset.
Did you review Mrs. Adelson's communications after July?
Whoa, a flurry of emails? Literally, it was 10 to 15 emails before the divorce was final in July of 2013. Donna started her email campaign. I mean, that's just what I'm going to call it. Her email campaign to poke and prod Wendi, which I also believe that Wendi was going there a lot in person in South Florida. So all of her correspondence are face-to-face, not electronic. But Donna started her main email campaign in like late January or early February of 2013 to go after Dan Markel. It did not stop until about 2 months before Dan was murdered in July of 2014.
By 31st. This.
Oh, and thank you all for being here. Once I'm going through and I see that you guys are all trusted folks, I literally am making you all mods because I've had some trolls today. I'm like, that's nuts.
Suggests she's consistently still upset about this.
I wasn't provided.
So you were, I'm sorry, finish your answer. You weren't provided any?
I wasn't provided after the flurry, right after the relocation, before the final judgment was entered in July of 2013. After July 2013, I don't recall seeing any emails from Miss Donna Adelson about the relocation.
Did you see any emails from her at all post settlement?
Not until maybe December. It was a while. October, maybe.
Okay.
Several months.
If Dan Markel had agreed to the relocation post denial, post stipulation, post, it could still happen, right? I mean, if he agrees, it could happen.
Sure, if he agreed, she could have relocated.
All right. And if he was murdered, it could happen, right?
Well, obviously.
So you categorized Dan Markel's pleadings in a lot of different ways: baseless, untrue, unenforceable, gibberish, nonsense, suggestion of unethical filings on the part of his lawyer to sign off on them. Are you saying, I think what you're saying is that those things wouldn't amount to much in court because it's not really effective filings. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is his motions post July 31st were not based in the law. And I don't think that allegations about accounts he knew of not being on an early filed financial affidavit would amount to fraud, and it certainly wouldn't excuse.
Okay, so this kind of really pisses me off about Linda Bailey. She said that Dan's filings post-divorce, okay, post-divorce is after July 31st of 2013, did not have legal bearing. This is so disgusting. If any of you have listened or watched information about the post-divorce proceedings, that is when everything heats up. Linda Bailey is... I don't even know how she can show her face in Tallahassee. I mean, I don't see her. I don't know who else does. Just gross right here. Disgusting, lady.
Excuse him not paying what he was supposed to pay under the terms of the court order. And the
Yeah, so her biggest bitch is that Kristen Adamson did not get $10,000. That is what this is all about. The murder of Dan Markel in regards to this troll. Yeah, she's, whatever she is all about her BFF, Kristen Adamson, not receiving a $10,000 payment from Dan Markel. So, I guess apparently in her eyes, he deserved to be murdered because he didn't pay Kristen Adamson $10K. Gross. I just went back 10 seconds to this troll.
an early filed financial affidavit would amount to fraud, and it certainly wouldn't excuse him not paying what he was supposed to pay under the terms of the court order. And the motion in March 26th related to parenting, he was trying to enforce things that weren't in the marital settlement agreement. There was no court order to make her do the things he wanted her to do. So there's no basis for the court to have granted his motion.
Right, so they weren't going to be successful. It's your opinion they weren't going to be successful.
Yes, that's my opinion.
But
whoa, girl. Everything that Dan Markel was filing after the divorce was final was because Wendi was not following the marital settlement agreement. Okay. I'm going to keep going. I don't want to be on forever, but this is disgusting. That is the basis of almost every other filing before he is killed, was because Wendi was not following the marital settlement agreement. What
to do. So there's no basis for the court to have granted
there was total basis.
his motion.
right, so they weren't going to be successful. It's your opinion they weren't going to be successful.
Yes, that's my opinion.
But would you agree that the things he was putting in there are inflammatory?
I would agree that they were inflammatory.
And they potentially could make the parties or their relatives upset to read those pleadings and those inflammatory accusations.
Sure, nobody wants to read those allegations, true or not, about themselves in a public record.
You were shown a bunch of binders on a case. That case has nothing to do with this case, right?
No, it was a relocation case.
All right. And that case, was anybody murdered in that case?
No.
Okay. So if somebody had been murdered in that case, there might have been a lot less paper, right? Case would have been shorter if somebody gotten murdered, wouldn't it, Miss Bailey?
If there wasn't a party, the case would have ended.
And if our case, we hadn't had a murder, we might have a lot more paper in our case, wouldn't we?
No, because
100% Jolie. Hello. I think Clarissa said the same thing. Once Dan was murdered, there was no legal basis of the case at all. Yeah, it's because the dad was killed. I mean, okay. This is why I'm not a prosecutor, an attorney, a psychologist, or law enforcement. Okay, I'm just a normal person in society. However, I don't know why this lady did not leave the stand in handcuffs based upon her bullshit testimony. Okay. Hey, Leslie B. I saw you earlier. Hey, Tato. It's good to see you. Okay. I'm going to keep going because her testimony was disgusting. Everything she said here, I mean, I guess it was in her opinion, if you will, but it was a lie about Dan. She was put on the stand to disparage Dan Markel.
because the divorce was over in July.
Divorce was over in July, but they kept filing papers, didn't they?
Well, and the case was set for hearing March 15th. May 15th, 2014. So the motion that Ms. Adamson filed in October, and the motion that Mr. Markel filed in February, and then the motion he filed in March, were all set for hearing May 15th. And then Mr. Markel amped it up again, and on May 5th, he filed the motion that accused Kristen of fraud. So she had to withdraw, so they had to move that motion. So had that not been filed, they would have had a resolution on May 15th.
Okay, for everyone to remember, just remember this. The March 26th of 2014, very, very, very large filing from Dan Markel. I mean, it is super packed with information. However, his May 1st or 5th, I forgot what she just said. I have my notes somewhere, but I mean, they're not here. I'm just saying. I believe it was May 5th of 2014. Dan filed another motion reiterating his March motion. And that is the last filing in family court that Dan Markel made before he was gunned down in his garage on July 18th of 2014. Like, for reals.
We don't know that. How do you know it was going to go on May 15th? Could have gotten continued for any.
And then Mr. Markel amped it up again, and on May 5th, he filed the motion that accused Kristen of fraud. So she had to withdraw, so they had to move that motion. So had that not been filed, they would have had a resolution on May 15th.
We don't know that. How do you know it was going to go on May 15th?
Yep, 100%. Dan Markel accused Kristen Adamson of fraud because she told Wendi to stop Skype communications between Dan Markel and the boys outside of court order. That is why Dan Markel went after Kristen Adamson. She was going against a court order to facilitate Skype calls. Okay, listen, I might be preaching to the choir, but I'm not sure if everybody is understanding what was going on exactly in the court files. The court files is why Dan Markel is deceased. Okay, I'm going to go back 10 seconds.
It up again, and on May 5th, he filed the motion that accused Kristen of fraud. So she had to withdraw, so they had to move that motion. So had that not been filed, they would have had a resolution on May 15th.
We don't know that. How do you know it was going to go on May 15th? Could have gotten continued for any zillion different reasons, couldn't it?
It was set for May 15th, and it was noticed for May 15th.
Set for May 15th, but at the time of Dan Markel's murder, litigation was still ongoing in this case. Yes? Yes. And
just by the way, everyone, set for May 15th, but then delayed. The May 15th hearing never happened. It was delayed for months, and the next hearing was never actually scheduled. And then Dan Markel is murdered on July 18th. Okay, remember, he's gunned down on July 18th. He does not pass away until the 19th. Like, Linda Bailey is disgusting here. And I want to say real quick, I'm so sorry. Hey Jolie, hey everyone who's here. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you so much. Here we have Phil Markel, Ruth Markel. That's the Carrie Martin something. She's a 1976 gymnast. Now she lives in Tallahassee. There in the back is Steve Cohen. Oh, there you got FF. This is this guy bowing down. I believe that he's a relative of the Markels. Okay, I'm going to keep going.
It was set for May 15th, and it was noticed for May 15th.
set for May.
Yeah, set for May 15th. The notice went out. The May 15th hearing was postponed with not a new hearing scheduled. Okay? Keep this in mind.
May 15th, but at the time of Dan Markel's murder, litigation was still ongoing in this case. Yes? Yes. And even after that was resolved, there would be nothing stopping them from having a bunch of other time-sharing issues or whatever come up, and they might have ended up with reams of paper, right?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled. The witness has provided an opinion. The state will cross-examine.
I guess my response to that would be, I think it would have been to Wendy's benefit to proceed with those hearings, because nothing makes someone stop filing nonsense pleadings and motions better than having them ordered to pay the other side's attorney's fees. So had they gone to the hearing on May 15th, and had Wendi have been successful, he would have very likely had to pay Wendy's attorney's fees. And I really encourage my...
Okay. Oh, whoa. Oh, my God. Okay, we're going to listen to this again real quickly.
better than having them ordered to pay the other side's attorney's fees. So had they...
So apparently she thinks that getting Dan Markel to comply is by ordering him to pay Kristen Adamson $10,000. Comply to what? Comply to what, Linda Bailey?
They gone to the hearing on May 15th, and had Wendi have been successful.
The May 15th hearing was postponed. Wendi was probably never going to be successful. It was postponed, never rescheduled indefinitely, and Dan Markel was gunned down 2 months later. Like, what is going on here? Okay, again, everyone, I know that you all might know these details. If you don't know these details, it's great to have you here. Thank you so much. But this is so important. This testimony from Linda Crooked Bottom Teeth Bailey, millionaire who can't afford Invisalign. I don't really know what's going on. I'm sorry. I don't really want to, make fun of people's looks, but if you are in cahoots with murderers, I will make fun of you.
He would have very likely had to pay Wendy's attorney's fees. And I really encourage my clients in these situations to take it to hearing. So once the other side gets kind of slapped down, if you will, by the court and made to pay your fees, then they tend to back off. So
But that hadn't happened yet.
It had not happened yet.
And we'll never know when that was going to happen because we never got to that point, right?
Okay. Okay. Whoa. Dan Markel was never going to back down to pay the fees for Kristen Adamson, Wendy's legal attorney, who told Wendi to cease all Skype calls from Dan Markel. Dan Markel was never going to back down because he knew he was being sabotaged by these bitches. Pardon my French. But Dan Markel was never going to back down in regards to legal proceedings. I mean, look at, I don't know who this I don't know who this like sweet blonde looking girl here is between the 1976 Carrie Olympic gymnast, Ruth, Phil. She's literally grasping her lips. Like, what the FUCK is going on here? Let's keep going.
Clearly.
Because he was murdered.
Clearly.
May I have a moment to confer, Judge?
Go ahead.
Yeah, like, Georgia's like, what else can I do with this bitch? I'm sorry, excuse my language. She's disgusting. Okay, for all of you who do not know, Amanda Wall was the mediator who was under Linda Bailey's law firm, who was the parenting coordinator during Dan and Wendy's divorce. Okay, I'm loving. I'm pretty sure that this is like Tallahassee Democrat channel. That's what I watch it from. Yes, yeah. There. Oh, look at Donna. Donna is. I'm so sorry. No, I'm loving this right now. Donna is clenched mouth. She doesn't even know what the fuck is going on in her own trial right now. Excuse my language. I'm so sorry. Yeah, Linda Bailey should be shamed out of town, in my opinion. That's just my opinion.
Nothing further, Your Honor.
Redirect examination.
Briefly, Your Honor.
The redirect is. It's Josh. Josh,
Bailey,
the good guy.
You sat through Kristen Adamson's testimony earlier today, correct?
I did.
Did that in any way influence your testimony here this morning?
No, there was no new information.
Nothing further.
Well, this witness
Yeah,
did
I'm
recall
spicy. I've had some Tabasco.
Potentially, Your Honor, but she's free to go about her business.
You remain under your subpoena. Please do not discuss your testimony with any other witness in this.
Oh, wait, hang on. I love that that Georgia's wearing a gray suit with a brown waist belt. Love it. Okay. All right. I just wanted to go through that. I don't know who's here. It's fine. Thank you all. Hey, Angela. Oh, wait, I gotta see. Oh, okay. Angela, it's fine. I'm about to go. You can rewind, but yeah. Thank you so much, Angela. Donna's thinking, should I hire Linda instead of these two? Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Hire Linda for what? Okay, so Jay Bronius, he did a short or a video saying that Linda Bailey was one of the mediators. Okay, I don't know if that's true or not. He didn't. He said he found it on the clerk of court's. I did not find that. It may or may not be true. I don't know. Okay, I mean, I've been subscribed to Jay Bronius and a member of his channel, Shaming of Jay Bronius, whatever he's called now, for years. It's only like $1 a month. Okay, I've been there. But he did a video saying that Linda Bailey was one of the 8-hour mediators for Wendi and Dan. I do not know if that's true, but what I do know is true is that Amanda Wall, who was an attorney in Linda Bailey's office, was the parenting coordinator for both Wendi Adelson and Dan Markel during their divorce. I don't know what kind of conflict that brings up. I'm not going to have anything negative to say about Amanda Wall. I actually think that she's a very good person. So that's all I want to say. I'm going to go through. I'm going to go soon, but oh, I don't. Okay. Yeah, okay, listen. I love Georgia Cappleman. Hey Tally Gal, good to see you. I'm sorry. Tallahassee resident in the house, Tally Gal. Linda Bailey came across as arrogant, pretentious, and entitled. It was apparent she believed that if she pronounced her air of superiority. Okay. Yes. Yes. I mean, she acted like $80,000 is nothing. Okay, $80,000 is kind of something to everybody. Yeah, Donna's over there in her little fog. Okay. I am going to close out my live stream by playing my song about Charlie. Okay, I wrote a song about Charlie. I'm still trying to tweak it. Not all the lyrics are how I want them to be. However, I wrote it after listening to the jail calls for hours and doing live streams like that. Literally, like, made me ill. It made me ill. I think that all that evilness gave me a very bad summer cold. It is what it is. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate you all so much. And I'm going to be back soon. I will be back sooner than what you all thought. Thank you all. And thank you to the moderators for watching out. Watching out for the weirdos who are online trying to dispute the facts of the unindicted co-conspirators. Okay, have a nice rest of your Saturday. Thank you.
Not the sharpest tool. He strutted through life thinking I'm not a fool. Not the brightest light in the room. He learned that money makes him cool. They said family comes first, do what we tell you. Do what a son is supposed to do. He followed through, thought he was a fixer, but that's far from the truth. He charmed strangers, he hustled friends, burned through women, called it business. In the end, every crooked dollar, every dirty game, he was better than others, having no shame. Money is the ultimate, and swindles all the way. He found the ones to do it, never thinking that he'd have to pay. He told his family he's got this, and he'd make them proud. He found the connections in shady places by tossing money around. Time passed and he thought he had it beat. He wasn't expecting that bump in the street. Arrogance got the best of him, he couldn't shut his mouth. When dumb people talk, the truth will come out. Code in words from scripted lines does a fool make. He soon would feel the law's earthquake. Blood on the walls and piss on the floor. His ranting and raving can't even the score. He took the fall for family. They left him where he stood. He thought he was untouchable, and the law was just a game. Now he's counting cracks in concrete, and they won't utter his name. I'm going in circles, and he'll be deep mad if it weren't for his actions. One could consider it sad. He sat on the stand thinking that he's bold, not knowing he's the sacrifice with the story he told. Then came the prosecutor, quiet as a ghost, never raised a voice but put on a show. Told the world what he did in 2 hours flat. Now his mind is racing like a rabbit bat, while a man played checkers with a loaded hand. The law played chess, delivering on demand. Justice came in minutes while he blinked in disbelief. He realized he's a killer, not just a thief. The pieces were moving quickly, and he didn't understand. Finally, the gavel was slammed with a heavy head. He thought he'd beaten the rap, thought he found the way out, but puzzle pieces are scattered, put up for only cloud. He took the fall for family. They laughed behind his back. They left him where he stood. Now his mind would crack. He thought he was untouchable, thought the law was just a game. Now he's counting pores in concrete and whispering her name, making sure he would take the fall. He watched them lock the door. The one who called himself Maestro is a number, collapsed on the floor. The ceiling talks at midnight. The shadows know his face. He argues with the empty air, then begs it for some grace. His mind became another prison long before they turn the key. A caged man sits and wonders why is she still free? Got 4 walls for his family, a lifetime for his crime. Now he's paying interest, it's just a matter of time. He's confused about kept its secrets is now a number in a crowd. Blood, blood on the wall, shit on the ceiling. He keeps repeating, I had a feeling. Never thought he'd be taken down. His mind replays her laying it all out. Puzzle pieces could not get him out. Staring through the bars, trying to make the pieces fit. A man who wanted love became a killer looking for it.